Tuesday, let me take you to the courts now, where businessmen and former friends Fani, Titi and Peter Paul Ngwenya are on opposing sides. Ngwenya is facing a charge of crime and injuria for calling Titi the K-word. Titi's business partner, Akhil Patel, is currently on the stand. Live now to the Randburg Magistrates Court, eNCA's Khayelihle Khumalo is standing by. Kai, good afternoon to you. Before we get to the testimony of today's witness, just remind us again what is alleged to have happened and when exactly did it occur?
Well, absolutely, Jeremy. This is a matter that is centered around the use of the K-word in 2016. And in actual fact, of course, the allegations that have been made by Mr. Fani Titi, who's one of the bosses at Investec. In essence, he had an acquisition with his former business partner, Paul Peter Ngwenya, and then there were supposed to be dividends that ought to have been paid to Ngwenya, but then there was a delay. And then seemingly Ngwenya got so agitated, he took his phone out of anger. Then he decided to use a K-word. So that's where it's all emanating from, Jeremy. It's a bit of a very complex case because there's a commercial dispute, but then now there's now a charge of crimen injuria because of the use of the K-word by, of course, Mr. Ngwenya. And also at some point during the testimony, Titi, for example, stated that he was so disappointed by Peter Ngwenya, given the fact that this is somebody who served in the Robben Island. So for him to use such a very demeaning term, such a very dehumanizing term, it's utterly concerning. It's extremely, he was very affronted. Those were the words that he used in court. But of course, Jeremy, in terms of the testimony now that has been adduced before the magistrate court by Mr. Patel, in essence is corroborating the words which were mentioned by Titi, of saying there was a point where Ngwenya went to one of their offices, MRC offices in Senton, where he was demanding to be paid money and, saying all sorts of things and, using all sorts of expletives. And then that's where and there was a protection order that had been secured. So he contravened that particular protection order.
Khayelihle, these are two old friends. They are business partners. It's a very unseemly case that you are reporting on. In court, what's the atmosphere like?
Well, absolutely, Jeremy. These are friends. They've known each other for 20 years. So it's a very frosty atmosphere in court. They hardly exchange words to each other. But of course, Mr. Titi is not in court in particular today. But yesterday, you could really just literally see the tension that was boiling between these two concerned gentlemen. They could barely greet each other. And there is a sense of disappointment because when, for example, Titi was on the stand, he stated that he was utterly disappointed because he has always known Ngwenya, he has always regarded him as a brother. So for him to use a K-word and for him to have such an argument simply because of the finances, and we know, Jeremy, these are very influential tycoons. They have very enormous ownership in terms of some radio stations in the country, like the Heart FM in Cape Town, Igagasi FM in Durban, and also a portion of Kai FM right here in Gauteng. So these are very prominent tycoons, and they've really just played a very pivotal role in terms of charting the path in terms of their respective field when it comes to business.